Hey YouTube, Scott here. Just want to let all your friends know that this is a tough video to make because there's such a broad scope of material, but I want to talk about customs. I want to talk about how you get ideas for customs, how you stick to certain plans to have evolving ideas, which leads to unintentional customs or even resulting customs from what you've made before. Now, a good example is I do lots of six-wheel customs. Now what's missing after I make one of these, what's left over, is a piece that looks like this for both of these, from here on. Now, as a result of that, I generally always make something out of that. A good example is when I made this Datsun pickup. I made this out of the piece that was left. This is the resulting custom. Now, a lot of things last longer than that, so they evolve. Now, for the Datsun wagon that I cut up, I was making this King Cab Datsun pickup. Now, I'm not real high on it. It kind of slipped below my acceptable level, so it's just sitting right now. Now, the Super Van here, on the other hand, I've got this, which is kind of a whimsical piece. It's a portable tornado shelter. I don't know if it'll go over well or not. It's not at the top of my list. It's just something that's kind of brewing and evolving. Now, a lot of the time you can get cars a lot of ways. The thrift store is the greatest. I had a lot of stuff in progress. I went and got this load out of the thrift store. And basically I've robbed a few things that were in there for parts. But like this is just going to go in my case because it's a sweet car. Other things I just kind of experimented with some paint, painted a little bit on this because it's of no value really to me. Other things I restored, like this. This is really a cool matchbox. I also restored this Mustang, Howland's Turbo Mustang. I want to make a police car out of it. Just kind of a Texas custom. More gems that were in that bag were this and this, which is the Bride of Frankenstein car and Frankenstein Double Demon Delivery. I believe that's what this is called. Both have rail riders, which I need desperately, because I make a ton of customs. I can't even put rail riders on them all. So that was well worth the $1.99 I paid for it. So that's the only one I did buy. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit more about resulting customs. I had a lot of fun with the fast bed hauler. Probably too much fun, actually. When I see this half, I figure I can match it to anything, and I can. I've got a lot of sweet cabs that I've chopped up just for that reason. Like this Dodge Power Wagon. Wouldn't that look sweet? Don't even have time to think about it right now. I got so much stuff going on. I can also put this Diora cab on it, which I did make one of these, but it kind of fell below the acceptable level. Pretty cool, though. Now, as a result of cutting up this Dodge Power Wagon, I have this bed right here that I could put on any number of things, including the cab from my last fast bed hauler, which is from the Red and Rig. Basically I can make some little compact thing like so. You feel me? Okay. Now, recently I've been making a custom Mad Fast, which is kind of developed. At first I was trying to blend it with the Brit Speed, and it looked pretty sweet. But I've since decided to make a six-wheeled Brit Speed. You see that? I'm going to try and work this idea into a six-wheeled Brit Speed. And this Mad Fast has become more like an exaggerated version of what it was in the first place. I call that making sure that it has big tits and long legs. Meaning it's fat in all the right places and super skinny in all the right places too. It's just one of my latest things I'm just thinking about. Now, doing things this way, you wind up with a lot of failed customs, but that's okay. You also wind up with a lot of stuff that's evolving. Meaning, here's a good example of the evolving ones. I built a downhiller out of the salt shaker, and I had this whole back piece left. So I cut this Porsche 917 in half, glued this to it, and you saw the video, I hope. It's just got up. But what I was left with is the back of a Porsche 917 that I wanted to incorporate into something. And what do you know? I used the Mad Fast base because I didn't need it anymore because I'm making the exaggerated version of it. And I'm just kind of working this. It's evolving. This is cardboard. It's actual paper from Topps baseball cards. It seems to work really well. I'll super glue a good anchor, and then I'll super glue to it, and then I can use like Elmer's glue to glue it up from there. Excuse me. Some of my failed customs, I think I'll show you now, and some of my evolving ones as well. I've got the 57 Nomad wagon in the paint stripper, so I can give it another go, try and make a better paint job on it. But I also did some white walls on it. So that's what this is. This is a paper chassis that I made. I can basically put under anything that I don't have a chassis, that could fit. I could shorten it or lengthen it, whatever. But I don't have to use the base. See what I'm saying? This itself is a custom. It was the long Chevy Silverado. I took the extra cab out of it. It's evolving. This is a custom Mazda Furai, which I haven't the slightest what to do to make it a viable custom. So it just sits around, but I make sure I see it every day. And some parts I actually paint a bright color so I see them. So they're in my mind and I know that, hey, this rough, it's sweet. It should be on something, but it's not quite yet. I also want to talk about tools. I don't use any tools that a kid couldn't use. I don't use tools because I thought it'd be much more relatable for kids. The last thing I want to hear a kid say when they see one of my customs is, I could never make that. I don't use any power tools. I don't have a shop. I don't measure. Pretty much everything. These are the tools I use. I use a hole punch for cardboard and paper. Small chisel. Pocket knife. Hacksaw. File. Wire brush. Scissors for precise cutting. Sharpie. I also have scissors that I cut plastic with no problem. I cut through the interior pieces. I don't even need to saw them. It's a time saver. When you have as many ideas as I do, it pays off. I want to show you also I've got bins of wheels. I've got a bunch of bags that have cars in them that I can cut up. Failed scratch built customs and such. Try to keep things to where I know where they are. This is a giant bucket of wheels. You take a look at that. Now, do you want to see the piece de resistance? This is just a tremendously large bin of things that's will show you really how much I have to work with here. It's quite a bit, isn't it? There's all sorts of things in there, from truck trailers to customs to certain tools, scratch-built halves of vehicles. Sorry about that light. Some things I'm trying to incorporate into things, like I think that would be useful for a few things. That brings me to my next point. There are a lot of things that aren't parts of cars you can use to really help your customs out. I've got a few suggestions for you right here. This is a container I've noticed around lately. It's pretty cool. You can make windows out of it. You can make chassis out of it. If I make something like this. If I was to cut that piece out just like that, I could make a car out of it because I could make the fenders. This would be the front, this would be the back. The wing goes here. This chin spoiler goes here. Bam, before you know it, I've got a car I've created. Another good example is the lid from many things. Tire shine or perfume. They look about like this, like little cups. You can make great windshields out of this stuff. Just cut a section of it, pop it in where you need it. There's an example of one. use these pen lids for many things, including making fat rear tires out of regular size small tires, which I'll have to show you another day. This is a hair. I mean, it's for women's hair. Basically, it's got a small piece of plastic that fits into a larger piece, making it ideal for a chassis. You can make a chassis with any wheelbase to fit any one of these vehicles, which is especially helpful when you're doing an exaggerated version of them like this Manifest right here. Well, I hope you liked my video. I hope you gleaned a little bit of idea on how to do some things and how I do my things. And I wish my voice was better because I got to end this now. But thanks for watching. See you next time.